Hi guys, today's going to be a video about the topic of everyone is you pushed out. So this is similar to a Neville Goddard video that I just did. I think I posted it a couple days before this one. And yeah, it's a similar concept to kind of, terms that he's coined and phrases that he uses, and it summarizes how everyone reflects your assumptions. I'm going to get more in depth into this and how to harness the power of everyone as you pushed out to really benefit you and bring in your manifestations. So stay tuned if you'd want to hear more about this. Please do thumbs up and subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell right under this video you're watching in the title section and right where you see my channel. You can also click the join button if you'd like to become a member. You can join for just £2.99 and you will get loads of little exclusive updates, polls that I do for the members, just keeping you guys updated about my channel and videos that are coming out. And yeah, you can take a look at what I offer. I would love for you guys to become a member and yeah, engage in our little community that we're building up. You can of course also coach with me one-on-one. All the information is linked below in this video, in the outro. So just take a look throughout all my content and on this channel to get information on how to coach with me and how to reach out to me. And yeah, it's going to be one-on-one. I do video calls on Instagram now, and I also do one-on-one written coaching and special digital packages that you can purchase for yourself. So those are all my updates. I'm trying to speed through that because the more things that I add to my coaching services, the longer these intros become, but I think I kept that at a minimum. So now let's start with everyone as you pushed out. To summarize this and kind of give you guys an overview as we get into this, it basically means that everyone in your reality and everyone in your life reflects your beliefs and assumptions. So that's kind of like a summary of what it means, that everyone is, if you literally imagine it, everyone is you pushed out. So they're just like, yeah, like a mirror reflection of you. They are reflecting what you believe and what you assume. But I do want to say, and this is my perception, some people may disagree, but this to me makes the most sense and what I've seen reflected and how it kind of, how I interpret it as a coach. It's not literally them reflecting you. It's not literally them mirroring what did I write here? Yeah, it's not a literal reflection of you. So if you worry about your relationship with them, it's not them it's not that they are going to immediately then start worrying about your relationship too. They will act or start shifting and conforming in a way that reflects the worry, if that makes sense. So it's kind of them enacting your worry in real life rather than them just experiencing the exact same thing as you. They are going to, in one way or another, without realizing it because they don't have free will, act out your worry and bring that into your reality in a way that reflects whatever you're predominantly focusing on. So I'm not saying you have one negative thought and it shifts. I'm saying that whatever you are focusing on and you assume and believe, which takes repetition to create that, they will somehow have to reflect that in your reality. So they also reflect back to you your beliefs about yourself through their treatment of you. So however they treat you and behave around you and speak to you, not prioritizing you or putting you on a pedestal, whatever it is, any type of treatment that, within your relationship with them, they are reflecting what you believe about yourself as well, which is why if you're starting from a low point, low self-confidence, a lot of doubt, I do recommend, especially to my clients, to put in some self-concept work. Typically, you don't have to do this to get like an SP, for example, but if you are coming from, a low starting point, then yes, self-concept can absolutely help, and you should do that to build yourself up just for your own sake. But people do reflect that. So it's hard sometimes to pinpoint the root of our beliefs. Of course, we can't just, like dig into our mind and pull it out of our subconscious. There may be things where from our childhood where we still hold on to beliefs and kind of potential trauma or beliefs like that you're not prioritized or you're not cared for, things like that can follow through into your adult life and your relationships in general. So it's important to be self-aware, to be able to kind of analyze our behavior and our thoughts. Even our dreams sometimes can show us, the root of what we're thinking and believing, and then shifting that into something positive. Because if you do want to work on your life in general, if you have low quality relationships, then I think self-concept is a good point to build up in relation to this. Because if you believe you're prioritized, more likely than not necessarily your SP will just shift overnight, but they're more likely to give you examples of you being prioritized. If it's a specific relationship, of course, you then need to pinpoint it with them, which is separate to everyone as you pushed out. But I do want to point out that your SP could absolutely reflect positive self-concept beliefs. So everyone in your reality, if you believe genuinely that you're always prioritized, that people just always put you first, like they will respond to you quickly regardless of what they're saying, that you know, you're allowed to cut into the queue, people let you push in front of them in the queue, like, or they tell, not that you push, but like people are like, oh, would you like to go in front? You know, you just have this assumption, oh, in life people prioritize me. So that will be reflected to you. If you reverse engineer your experiences and look back retrospectively, I think you will notice that you actually had examples of things like that. So there you can pinpoint how everyone as you pushed out relates to self-concept. And of course, they mirror back to you your assumptions and beliefs about people in general. You know, that, oh, men who drive sports cars are this, positive or negative. People who do this or that. If I, you know, in this country, people were rude to me, so you just assume that, you know, whatever, people in that country are not nice to you. Those are kind of like how you build up stereotypes, right? So I'm not saying it's a good thing to build up, but that shows you how your assumptions are created and therefore they have to be reflected. So if you have one negative experience, you might assume that, oh, girls are just rude to me, I can't be friends with girls, which, yeah, that's kind of, those beliefs are not good. You should definitely shift them as soon as you recognize them. But literally, one bad experience can spiral if you don't catch it. So try and keep an eye on things like that, because people do reflect back to you your assumptions about people, your, you know, assumptions about relationships as well, and about them specifically. So that's where it ties into SP as well, where they are you pushed out. So if you assume they treat you a certain way, that's what they have to reflect, right? They can't go against your assumptions. They don't have the free will, because otherwise manifestation would not exist, because people would just choose individually of their own accord exactly how to act throughout life. Be aware of conversations you're having as well, because it all builds into positive or negative beliefs. So it's not just a mental diet where or looping an affirmation where, you know, you spend an hour a day doing that. That's fantastic, and you should absolutely build up those practices. But it's also going about your day. You know, do you sit on the phone for an hour with your mom and then your best friend or your boyfriend, you know, group of friends in the group chat, and complain and say the same thing in just slightly different wording? Be aware of that, because that's also going to tie into everyone as you pushed out, because you are building into a negative or positive belief. Either way, whatever you repetitively repeat and whatever theme that is most prominent in your conversations and your thoughts every day, that is what is going to reflect in your life. So do be aware of that. Do be careful, because that ties into your mental diet, as well as how everyone is going to act in your reality according to that. So I'm not saying that you have to monitor every word and thought, absolutely not. This is speaking predominantly the majority of your thoughts. It's not difficult once you're aware and willing to put in the effort and have the motivation to shift into something more positive, to release those negative practices. Because you might notice, oh my gosh, every time I speak to my best friend, I complain about my boyfriend, you know? So you become aware of that, and it's not difficult. It's not, you know, it doesn't mean you have to sit there and police your thoughts constantly. It's just about predominantly, if you notice a negative pattern, you become self-aware and you slowly start to build up better habits, right? So those repetitive complaints will eventually materialize in your 3D reality. So just try and be aware in the long term overall, and just throughout the day, try to be more self-aware so you can catch at least some of the negative thoughts, flip them around, revise them, whatever the case may be, or just decide, you know what, when I speak to my friend today, I'm not going to complain about this topic. It's really not super difficult, and it doesn't mean, I'm absolutely not saying that the majority of singular comments, or even if you just say something 3 times, I'm not saying it then shows up. So don't panic, don't worry, just try to be more positive, because it will only benefit the quality of your life. And of course, a mental diet ties into this, because it's key when you're trying to shift into a new positive story. So again, in order to harness the power of everyone as you pushed out, you want to make sure that you're reflecting predominantly positive assumptions. Whether or not you believe it, just keep repeating it. That's the point, repetition. So a mental diet is going to be key, so you can catch those negative thought patterns in the moment. Also remember that you are the conscious creator and creator of your physical experience. So as soon as you apply that repetition and apply consistency with new beliefs, they will start to reflect that back to you. People will start to reflect it once you start to build it into an assumption and a belief, because they don't have the free will to oppose it. So as soon as you start repetitively saying, people prioritize me, SP does this, my family does that, whatever the case may be, anything positive that you're creating, you repeat it until you see it reflected in your reality, and then you keep going until it's basically a permanent fact in your experience. So I hope that summarizes everyone as you pushed out well, how to harness it to your benefit, to create more positive, happy, thriving experiences in your relationships and in your life. Do thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed, and if you'd like to see more content from me, and I'll see you next time.